Welcome. I started collecting diecast cars a little over 2 years ago, and when I first started collecting, I did a quick early search for a car that is my effectively my holy grail. It's one of my favorite cars ever. It's a very historic race car, and at the time, I did find that the car I was interested in did exist in 1/64 scale, and it was available, but it was made by a company called Kyosho, which at the time I had never heard of. It was, I only knew of Hot Wheels and Matchbox in the very beginning, and I looked up these Kyosho cars, and you could get them off of eBay, but man, were they expensive. And they were only available direct from Japan, and they were old. These cars, the car in this box came out 20 years ago, or maybe even a little more than that. And so that was a little too much for me to take on at that time, since I was looking to this as being a cheap hobby. But if you've watched any of my videos, you know that this is no longer a cheap hobby for me. So spending a little bit of money to get a 1/64 scale car shipped from Japan is not something that I'm adverse to doing anymore. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this car, which I consider basically the holy grail car for me. And as I mentioned, this is a historic race car from the late '90s, and it, this is the only version of it in 1/64 scale that I'm aware of. And so we will see what we get here. So this came from Japan. These are used. This could be completely disappointing to me. What's in here? So I'm I'm actually a little bit nervous about looking in this box, and I waited a long time to get these. And so if you're not familiar with Kyosho, they put out these series of what they called mini car collections, and these came out in the early 2000s, and they they were sold in convenience stores in Japan, and they weren't very expensive. They cost, yeah, I believe they were maybe the equivalent of about $7 or $8 in the convenience stores, and they were sold in blind boxes, so you wouldn't know which particular car you were getting, and they so you would buy the blind box, open it, and surprise get whichever car it was, and they put out various different collections, and so I'm going to move this off camera for a second. And so these cars, and there's more than one, but these cars are from the British Sports Car Collection, which was a series. It had 30 cars, 30 different cars in it. There were actually 10 different models, each with 3 variations. And so they were, like I said, they were sold in blind boxes, and then you wouldn't know what you were going to get. So here it is. And this is the Jaguar Xgr9. This is a race car from the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And for me, I've been absolutely fascinated with Le Mans since the time when these cars ran, and I remember watching the races, and I was just always a huge fan of these cars. When I was a teenager, I built scale models of these cars, and then I've collected these cars in various other forms. And this particular livery is the one that I'm always the most interested in. So this is very exciting. It looks like this is actually in pretty good shape. Actually, it looks effectively brand new. It does not have the box that this would have come in, but it does have the plinth and the little blister thing. And then it did come with these little cards that would have come on the bottom of the, or inside the box underneath the blister. So let's see. Won't be anything too exciting on these, but we can see that. So there's 3 versions of the car that were available. This is the number 1 car, and then there was just some information about the car, which is in Japanese, so that's not going to be very useful to me. But yeah, this looks to be in very, very good condition, and so I as I always do on this, I didn't buy just one. I bought all 3, of course. So I have all 3 versions of this. So yeah, the number 1 car and this livery, this purple and orange livery, this is actually the Silk Cut livery. But because Silk Cut is a cigarette brand, nobody ever puts it out with Silk Cut on the side of the car. They always substitute it with Jaguar or with these purple bars extending all the way across the car, which is the way that the cars actually ran in certain markets where the cigarette advertising was banned. So these are what you get, and so these look pretty good. And then the third one is just in a British racing green, and let's get this out of this package because the packaging is really obscuring the ability to see it. And I almost didn't get this one because this is not a real race livery or anything. It's just racing green, so it's kind of a in a way cheaping out on the part of Kyosho, but it actually looks really good in this dark green color, and it's very cool. But these are the ones that I was really interested in, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the base. And I'm very happy to see that it seems as if these are in perfect condition. I don't see, at least superficially, I don't see any major issues with them. But yeah, this is awesome. Does not disappoint in any way for me. It's a fantastic. I love the car, and I know that a lot of people are like, "What? Why do you love that car so much?" Oh, I don't know. I just do. I love Group C race cars, and I'm super happy to finally have these. I've waited 2 years to buy these, and so this is very exciting, and I can add them to the collection of other Group C cars. Like we have the Porsche 962 in this absolutely beautiful version, or 956. Sorry, this is not a 962. 956 from Sparky, and we can almost build a full grid now of Group C race cars based on the various models that have been put out. And then from Hot Wheels, we do have the 962 in a few different variations. And then the first Hot Wheels car that I ever ordered was this one, the Momo. And this is, like I was saying, I have such a fascination with the Le Mans cars of this period that this was the genesis of all of my collecting, was the existence of this car. Even though I actually looked for this one first because, as I explained earlier, costs and difficulty in getting it, I was perfectly content to begin with the Hot Wheels. And then also from Hot Wheels, we have the Mazda 787B, which is available in a few different iterations. And then most recently from Hot Wheels, this awesome Sauber Mercedes C9, which is they did a fantastic job on this. The removable engine cover. This is a great model. was very happy to see how well they did on this. Kyosho does have a version of this car as well, but from what I've seen I actually think the Hot Wheels version might actually look a little bit better. But well, there you are. And this is the Jaguar Xjr9. Beautiful. Love it. Totally happy. Thank you for watching.